Hey there folks, and welcome to a new Let's Play adventure by the mysterious JG. It's Let's Play Stationfall. So you may remember my Let's Play of a game called Planetfall, or you might not. Stationfall is a sequel to Planetfall, and I had mentioned long ago when recording Planetfall, it must have been at least a year or two by now, that I intended to get around to recording Stationfall eventually, and it's been a while, but I'm finally getting ready to do it now. Couple things. My desktop computer is in the shop getting serviced, and there's a couple of LPs I had in process that I could find a way to record with my laptop, but it would invariably change the video quality and sound quality and just disturb things. So I figured I'd find something I could do entirely on the laptop. I could probably be playing Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, but I figured I would take a break for Stationfall. I was reminded of Stationfall recently in an odd way by Mega Man 4 because of a musical association that I actually explain in that game. So, Stationfall is a sequel to Planetfall. This video I'm going to go through, and I did not do this for Planetfall, although I probably should have. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that came with the game packaging, like the manual, and kind of read through it and show you guys, because this is a game from an era back in the day when you got a whole lot more physical content than you get nowadays. Nowadays, you buy a big piece of plastic packaging with a single CD in it, and you can go online and read the manual. But back in the day, they used to really put a lot of content in these manuals. The manuals were very involved. Games, especially the Infocom ones, often came with like gimmicky quote feelies that were supposed to connect you with the game. And as the Wikipedia page for Stationfall tells us, your box would come with blueprints for the space station where the game is set, 3 different forms, which we'll go through briefly at least, and a Stellar Patrol patch for the rank of Lieutenant First Class. So that would actually give you like a patch that you could sew onto a jacket or something, which was for the Stellar Patrol. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you don't get. Like, they're starting to bring that back a little with the collector's editions of games. Like, you can buy the premium edition and it comes with like an art book or something, but like they're charging you like $100 to get like crazy big boss robot arm, which I have, doing the John Cena C-Nation thing in my apartment right now. But like I had to pay twice as much for my copy of the game to get like the cool, neat stuff, which I gladly did because I like Metal Gear so much. But no, back in the day, you would get that kind of cool shit with every game. So before we begin going through, and again, this is a totally skippable video. I'm going to go through the contents of the game, which I do not physically own that game. I got the Lost Treasures of Infocom version of it many years ago, which did not come with all the feelies. Although I believe PDFs of the digitally, scannable type of stuff did come with that game. But I also wanted to briefly show you, I didn't really clear out my junk in my, so like for example, you could see, I've been watching Zerfall and Bobo play a game because I didn't really go through and clean my stuff out. But you can see if you felt like going to my channel and you want to know about the story of Planetfall, like you're new to my channel, you're like, oh, that sounds interesting to play an old school puzzle text game, an Infocom game like Stationfall. I don't suppose I really explained that. Stationfall was an Infocom game from like the 80s, so it came out in 87. There's no graphics. It's a black screen with white text, and you read through and you type in what you want to do and you play through the adventure. So if you're new to my channel and you're interested in that, but you never watched my Let's Play of the game Planetfall, which came first, this is the sequel to that, that Let's Play is on my channel. It consists of 7 30-minute videos, so it's less than 4 hours if you felt like watching that first. And I'm going to go through the story of Planetfall now, so if you're like, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool. I'll go look up that old Let's Play of JG's, and then when I'm done watching that, if that was fun, I'll watch his new Stationfall LP. I'm giving you a chance now to back out because I'm about to spoil the story of Planetfall. Okay? Okay. So the story of Planetfall, as you may recall, is you have Planetfall, say hello to Floyd, Magnets break my game, shuttle jockeys, yay teleport card, Floyd sacrifice, and your score is 80 out of a possible 80. Basically, you are on a spaceship, you are a janitor, you are being pushed around by some uppity lieutenant because you're a lowly janitor. Suddenly the space station explodes, you get into an escape pod, this is like your first point in the game where it's possible to die is if you are not doing your janitorial duties as you should be. When the ship explodes, you can be thrown in the brig, which will cause you to die when the ship explodes. When you're in the escape pod, you have to get into safety webbing, and you stay in it until it's time to get out, or else you will die on impact with the planet when you achieve planetfall. You have to swim to the surface. If you lollygag around trying to explore underwater, you drown, etc. It's that kind of game. You find yourself on a large, like, you don't really know this at first, but it's a big research station, but it's abandoned. Like, you can see facilities for large numbers of people, but you can't find anyone. And there's nothing actively trying to kill you, although you can die, as in many Infocom games, of hunger or thirst if you don't find food and water. And eventually, if you keep wandering around the station fast without really accomplishing anything, you eventually begin to feel sick, and you will eventually die of a disease. Because as you play through the game, you find out what the plot is that you're on a planet where the entire population had caught this plague, so they put themselves into suspended animation and had automated computer systems researching a cure for the disease. And as you play even further, you'll find out that the computers were 99% of the way to finding a cure for the disease when there was a system malfunction. And in order to win the game of Planetfall, you have to actually repair the computer and get it to finish finding a cure for this disease, at which point the inhabitants of the planet will wake up and thank you profusely. There are optional puzzles along the way where you can repair the distress, like, communication system, and you can repair, like, the targeting system for the weapons. And what this does is, if you do all the optional stuff, in addition to saving the people of the planet who will wake up and be grateful, you also will have a ship from Earth, or the Federation, or whatever the fuck you're from. The Stellar Patrol, I guess. Where is your patch from? Your patch is from the Stellar Patrol, yeah. So a Stellar Patrol ship will rescue you, and you'll have the option of going back with your own kind. And if you fail to do any of the optional stuff, the ship will either get destroyed by the defenses on the planet, because it's implied that the reason your ship blew up is because of malfunctioning defenses on this planet that you were getting close to, and etc. It's also very famous for the fact that, it's possible to die throughout the game, but it's not quite like Enchanter, where there is, like, an antagonist presence. This is just a game where there's a disease that you catch, and you have a certain amount of time to figure out how to fix it. You also meet a friendly robot named Floyd, who follows you around and is kind of childlike and wants to play, and will help you if you give him specific commands that the text parser and Floyd himself can understand. And famously, you have to sacrifice Floyd in order to win the game. There comes a point where Floyd has to go into a dangerous area, and you can't survive going in there. Floyd has to go in there to retrieve an item you need to win the game, and Floyd thinks he can do it and get back out alive, but in fact, he is dying when he gets out and gives you the item, and his death scene is for people who are people who are playing games at this point in time. It's a highly emotionally impactful moment for this era of video gaming. And I did not realize, because I didn't do all the optional stuff, I think I must have missed something. I remembered that you can't bring Floyd back, but in fact, if you do everything perfectly at the end of the game, Floyd is repaired and you are reunited with your friend. But if you don't do everything and you can win the game without getting the full optimal score, Floyd remains dead, but you do defeat Super Space Disease, and it's what it is. That all being said, Stationfall, there is the back box art. Floyd is back in the Bophoid sequel to Planetfall. Because, and this is something that makes a lot more sense now than I realized at the time, I didn't realize you could save Floyd if you did everything. And you can. But Floyd does appear in the sequel Stationfall, which makes a lot more. I guess the canon ending of Planetfall is the one where you got all the points. And here's the back of the box. Assigned to each Stationfall package or Stationfall disk, a set of blueprints for a Gamma Delta class deep space station, 3 highly bureaucratic forms, and your Stellar Patrol patch. So you can see the Stellar Patrol patch, and if you are familiar with the old 5 1/4 inch floppies that are so near and dear to my heart, you can actually kind of see how big the thing is. What a trotting crip! Since your incredible heroics in Planetfall, where you risked your life, limb, and saved the planet Rosida, things have hardly changed at all. Sure, you were promoted to Lieutenant First Class, but this only meant that your dull life of cleaning grotch cages was replaced by an equally dull life of paperwork. Now you've got another assignment, tailor-made for a grotch brain. Pilot a space truck to a nearby station to pick up a load of trivial forms. Trot and double trot. But all is not lost. By a happy twist of fate, your companion for your journey is your old pal Floyd. It's our old friend Duke! That was for Bobo. That's right, it's the same mischievous little robot, Cranes and Paddleball at the ready, who was your helpful buddy in Planetfall. Getting to the space station is easy, because, again, Floyd's fate in Planetfall, apparently Steve Maretsky, who wrote the game, didn't want it, wanted Floyd to die, didn't want there to be a way to bring Floyd back, and people prevailed upon him that Floyd was like, people were really going to love Floyd, you can't do that. And now they're really apparently marketing this thing around the fact that people love Floyd. Even the seedy space, but once there, you find it is strangely deserted. So they are kind of giving you a little bit of spoilers here. But hey, to me, it's fair that going into the LP, you should know what you would have known walking into an old Babbage's or Electronics boutique and buying this game off the shelf. You would read the back of the box before you dropped $50 on a game. Even the seedy space, I don't know if they were $50 back then. Even the seedy space village surrounding the station is missing its ragtag tenants. A spooky alien ship carrying only an empty pedestal rests in a docking bay. An ostrich and an Arcturian balloon creature are found, abandoned but in perfect health. The commander's log describes the mysterious breakdown of machinery, demonstrated by a roving hull welder who seems bent on your destruction. And finally, even Floyd begins acting oddly. Steve Maretsky, whose interactive fiction successes include The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Led the Goddesses of Phobos, I didn't know he was involved in writing that. Famous as being like the only Infocom game that didn't make it into the Lost Treasures collections because it was the only, quote, adult title. Won a Best Computer Software Design Award for Planetfall. Infocom fans consistently rating Planetfall among their favorite computer games have been begging for a sequel. Even if you've never played Planetfall, you will enjoy Stationfall. The puzzles will challenge your intellect, the humor will keep you laughing, and Floyd will win your heart. Get inside a story. Get one from Infocom. It's like waking up inside a story. Infocom's interactive fiction takes you to the center of a world jam-packed with surprising twists, unique characters, and ingenious puzzles. And for some reason, I don't know how to get rid of that. Yeah, it's like my picture viewer doesn't want me reading that text. For the first time, you're more than a passive reader. You talk to the story, typing and full English sentences. Okay, well, there it went away. And the story talks right back, communicating entirely in vividly descriptive prose. What's more, you can actually shape the story's course of events through your choice of actions. I don't know why they're explaining it this way. I guess people weren't getting how the Infocom text games work. Until turns at every step, blah, 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 blah. Your adventure can last for weeks or even months. Find out what it's like to get inside a story. Get one from Infocom, because with Infocom's interactive fiction, there's room for you on every disc. Quick Leather Goddesses of Phobos note. I feel like I've mentioned this in a stream or something, or maybe I just mentioned it to Zerfall in an offline chat, but I have an amusing Leather Goddesses of Phobos story. I've never played the game. I vaguely remember the ad campaign when its sequel came out, but my memory of the original Leather Goddesses of Phobos is that because the box art for that game was rather similar to... Maybe I can just pull it up real quick. Oh... Yeah, if you look at the box art, it's kind of similar in appearance to the box art from, like, just an art style, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is why I remember I really should have closed some of this stuff on my computer before starting. That was like there, I just gave a free plug to the place where I actually did my, set my computer off to get fixed. Although I might want to pull that out in case people start trying to extrapolate where my physical location is. Anyway, Leather Goddesses of Phobos, I actually, when I was a little kid, I'm talking like 7 years old or so, probably, I'm guessing. We were in a computer store, and I was looking at the different computer games, and I liked Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which we had, and Planetfall. Like, these are games that I don't remember having played Planetfall that early, but I think I saw the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and wanted to get something similar, so I did see Leather Goddesses of Phobos on the shelf and looked at the artwork and read the description on the back and didn't really get it, but I did show it to my mom and ask her if we could buy it. And it's called Leather Goddesses of Phobos. So, not really a game for the kids. So let's get back to my little PDFs here. We have blueprints that came with the game. We have the game forms, which are like a silly little bit of fun. These are the maps that actually came with the hint book. And I actually have a full text of the hint book, which I'm going to avoid. I'm going to try not to use this too much, but you're probably going to want me to fall back upon the hint book occasionally rather than just get completely stuck and have... I don't want to have like 10 videos worth of me wandering around not knowing what to do and puzzling through stuff in my head. And then we have the manual for Stationfall. So Stationfall, boldly going where angels fear to tread. Official technical manual. If you've never played Infocom's interactive fiction before, you should read this entire instruction manual. If you're an experienced Infocom player, just read Section 1 about Stationfall. So we're going to read Section 1, and I'll probably skip around and look for anything that's kind of amusing or interesting in this, but we won't read the whole manual. Preface of the story. After the fall of the Second Galactic Union in 1716 GY, a 10,000-year dark age settled upon the galaxy. Interstellar travel was non-existent, and many star systems descended into a near-barbaric state, burning fossil fuels for energy and growing food directly from exposed topsoil. In 11203 GY, a treaty between the growing empires of Tremaine and Gallium formed the Third Galactic Union. I don't really think any of this detail is actually in use in the game. A pseudo-military branch of the Union government on Tremaine was created. Called the Stellar Patrol, its ships began exploring the galaxy, searching for the human civilizations that are the remnants of the Second Union. You are a native of Gallium, one of the most politically powerful but culturally barren worlds of the Union. Your great-great-grandfather was a founding officer of the Stellar Patrol, and for 5 generations your family has served in the Patrol. It was always taken for granted that you would sign up as soon as you came of age. Once you joined the Patrol, you discovered that your exciting career, promise, and all the Patrol recruitment brochures was nonsense. Your life is drudgery and demerits. The only time you got to see an exotic planet was right after a big parade when they needed a detail to sweep up all the confetti. Then came your big moment. Shipwrecked on a seemingly deserted world, you met an exuberant robotic companion named Floyd. Together, the two of you discovered the secrets of the mysterious planet Resida and saved it from near destruction. The story of that heroic deed was told in Planetfall. As a result of your heroics, you were offered and quickly accepted a juicy promotion. Goodbye, Ensign 7th Class. Now you are an Ensign 1st Class, a Lieutenant 1st Class. No more scrub work, no more bathroom details, no more cleaning of the crotch cages. Finally, your life in the Stellar Patrol would be as exciting as those brochures had promised. Oh, how naive you've been. Your daily routine simply replaced tedious scrub work with tedious paperwork. Since your Planetfall on Resida, 5 long years have dragged by without a single solitary event worthy of notice. Why, just look at today's thrilling assignment. Scooting over to Space Station Gamma Delta Gamma 777G, 59/59, Sector Alpha Mu 79, to pick up a supply of requests for Stellar Patrol Issue Regulation Black Form Binders, Request Form Forms. So you're picking up the forms that you use to request the black binders in which request forms are stored. That's kind of the joke. It's bureaucracy gone mad. So now we move into, they explain, because they really did recommend you draw your own maps similar to the maps that you would get from the hint books. This transcript is not from Stationfall, but will give you a good general idea of how Infocom's interactive fiction works. It contains some simple puzzles and their solutions. The player's commands appear in capital letters after each prompt. The map represents the terrain in the sample transcript as you might have drawn it. And I do enjoy this little fake game here, so I'm going to read through this. Wait, time passes. The scooter glides into the station's docking port. The retro thrusters bring the scooter to a halt. As the docking port fills with air, the scooter's hatch opens. Look, scooter in the pilot's couch. You are in the cramped one-man space scooter. Through the viewport, you see the docking port of Space Station BG-12. The scooter's hatch is open. You can see a toolbox here. I find myself wishing that this game existed and I could play it. I don't know why. Open the toolbox. You can't reach it from the pilot's couch. That's exactly how the Infocom games work, by the way. Stand up. You're standing again. Open the toolbox. It's locked. Leave the scooter. Docking port. This is the huge docking port of the space station. Only one ship is here at the moment. A one-man scooter, so the docking port seems unusually empty. A tube leads down towards the heart of the station. Down. Main hallway, Sector M. This is the station's main computer, which continues to port. And starboard, a tube leads up toward the docking port. Starboard. Main hallway, Sector N. This is the station's main corridor, which continues to port, and starboard, a room lies to 4, and a tube leads down to the next level of the station. Lying at the base of the wall is a key. Take the key. Taken. Examine it. The key looks like one of those new all-purpose keys that molds itself to any lock, a typical example of Garfugian ingenuity. 4. Sickbay. Like the rest of the station, the medical facility is deserted. This is odd, for regulations require that sickbay be staffed around the clock 10 crons a day. The only exit is aft. At the far end of the room, inside a steel cage, is a Thusian fuss budget, apparently asleep. Wake the fuss budget. It jumps to its feet, all 12 of them. Hey, what's going on? Who are you? Let me out of here. Open the cage. The cage is locked. Open the cage, begs the fuss budget, clawing at the bars. I'm claustrophobic. I'll starve to death. I want to go jogging. Unlock the cage with the key. This seems to be one of those new, sophisticated, all-purpose, key-proof locks. See, that's the kind of joke that Moretzky would put in the game. Break the bars. Get an acetylene torch. Find a teleporter. I've got an appointment with my lawyer in 5 minutes. I'm allergic to cages. The fuss budget begins sneezing wildly. Aft, port, up, enter the scooter. Unlock the toolbox with the key. And this is something I never bother to use, but you can put periods between short commands and just do it all in one shot. So you get back to the docking port, you're beginning to get hungry. Scooter, you see a toolbox here. The toolbox is now unlocked. Open the toolbox. Opening the toolbox reveals an identity bracelet, a hacksaw, and a tube of nutrient paste. Take all from the tall box. I don't know the word tall box. Oops, toolbox. Again, they're explaining some infocom commands. If you mistype something and it tells you it doesn't know the word, you're allowed to say oops and then type in the correct spelling. Identity bracelet taken, hacksaw taken, tube of nutrient paste, you are carrying too much weight already. Inventory, you're carrying a hacksaw, an identity bracelet, a key, and a box of radioactive isotopes. You're wearing a patrol uniform. Drop all but the hacksaw and the bracelet, and then take the tube. It would take less time to drop the, just say drop the box, I guess. But, oh, you dropped the key too. You have to remove the patrol uniform before you drop it. You're now quite hungry. Eat the paste. One of your favorites, anchovies and peanut butter. You empty the entire tube, and your hunger dissipates. Out, down, starboard 4. You get to the sick bay. It's about time you got back. You think it's fun being locked in a cage? What if there was a fire? Cut the bars with a hacksaw. You cut through one of the bars. The fuss budget sticks its head through the gap. Come on, cut some more. I'm almost out. Do you think these edges where you cut the bars are sharp? Again. You cut a second bar. The fuss budget squeezes through and leaps to the floor. Thanks, bud. By the way, I'm a fuss budget. It hops across the room and pokes 4 or 5 eye stalks cautiously through the doorway. Where is everyone? Hey, that looks like a tube of nutrient paste you've got there. Give the tube to the fuss budget. The fuss budget grabs the tube, wildly squeezing it with all 6 hands, and then throws it on the deck. Empty. If I don't eat something soon, I'll get sick. Aft, main hallway, sector N, the fuss budget gangles after you. Port, main hallway, sector M, the fuss budget gangles after you. Port, main hallway, sector L. This is the station's main corridor, which continues to the port and starboard. Rooms lie fore and aft. The fuss budget gangles after you. It suddenly notices your identity bracelet. Hey, a bracelet. If you give me it, I can get us lots of food. What do you say, huh? Give bracelet to the fuss budget. The fuss budget grabs the bracelet and dashes forward. 4. You bounce off the invisible security barrier. Within the room, you can see the fuss budget wearing the bracelet, greedily devouring a whole crate of mondo weed fruits. Fuss budget, give me the bracelet. Without looking up or pausing for a second, the fuss budget tosses you the bracelet. Put on the bracelet. You are now wearing the bracelet. 4. Storeroom. This is a small storage room of some sort. A hallway lies aft. You can see an adapter plug here. The fuss budget is just shoving the last few fruits into its huge mouth. All the food is gone, it says with its mouth full. Where am I going to sleep tonight? Aft. The fuss budget gangles after you. Director's office. This is the office of the station manager. It is simply furnished with a file cabinet and a desk, and there's an electrical outlet on one wall. Sitting on the desk is a portable computer and a slip of paper. The fuss budget gangles after you. Read. What do you want to read? Slip of paper. Taking the slip of paper first. Buy milk. Dentist at 3300. New password is 133. Turn on the portable computer. Nothing happens. The fuss budget shivers. Does it seem chilly in here? I hate drafty places. A look of concern crosses his face. Do you think the heating units have failed? Examine the computer. The portable computer has a screen, a keyboard, and a power cord. The screen is blank. The fuss budget says, see you later, bub. I'm going to go catch some winks. It gangles out. Plug the cord into the electrical outlet. The cord ends in a 9-prong plug, but the outlet will only accept 5-prong plugs. 4. You go back. Storeroom. The fuss budget is snoring loudly in the corner. You can see an adapter here. Take the adapter plug. Taken. Examine it. The adapter plug seems to be designed to fit 9-prong plugs into 5-prong outlets. You go back to the room, and you plug the cord into the adapter. You turn on the computer. The computer beeps and the screen lights up saying, please type password. You type 133, which we got from a piece of paper. The screen says password accepted. Type 7 for memo file. Type 11 for correspondence file. Type 7. The last page of the memo pad appears on screen. 22 Bosbar. All personnel have been teleported down to the planet. I'll be joining them in a cron or so, but I wanted to say goodbye to this old station. It's too bad we couldn't stop that reactor buildup. By the way, the latest reading for critical is 6900. Time. Adjusted Galactic Standard Time is exactly 6897. 4. Suddenly a giant fireball engulfs the entire station. You have died. Your score is 9 points out of a total of 80 and 92 moves. This gives you the rank of pot scrubber. So that amusing little thing was showing you some basics of the oops command, like, the directional commands, dropping things, picking things up. You had to read the piece of paper to get the password. You had to use an adapter to get the computer to work, all that kind of stuff. About the author, Steve Meretsky, 1957 to blank. As far as I know, Steve Meretsky is still alive. Then I am curious. I lost my, well, never mind. Let's go back to, was born and raised in Yonkers, New York, where his early hobbies included rooting for the New York Mets against Richard Nixon. Historians of interactive fiction point to Meretsky's first job, packing nuts and bolts for Solid's hardware business, as the formative moment of his writing career. Most others think there is absolutely no connection, and that all historians of interactive fiction are fruitcakes. Meretsky arrived at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in September 1975 to pursue a career in architecture. MIT's Department of Architecture convinced Meretsky that he should pursue a career in construction management. Following his unexpected graduation, several construction firms convinced Meretsky that he should pursue a career as a game tester for Infocom. Finally, by 1982, Mark Blank could... See, that's the thing. Meretsky probably had some part in writing this, and he's being humorous, but at the same time, you notice he found a way to mention that he's an MIT grad and tried to make it sound self-deprecating. And that's quite a trick, Meretsky. Mr. Meretsky. I'd never met Stephen Meretsky. If I did, I'd have to shake his hand. He's created quite a few games over the years that gave me quite a lot of enjoyment. Finally, by 1982, Mark Blank convinced Meretsky that he should pursue a career as an author of interactive fiction, implementer in Infocom lingo. While at Infocom, a heartwarming inter-office romance blossomed between Steve and the sales department's Elizabeth Rock. Married since September of 1985, Steve and Betty have no children, but they do have a garage door opener that they're very proud of. Other works of interactive fiction by Steve Meretsky: Planetfall, Sorcerer, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, A Mind Forever Voyaging, and Leather Goddesses of Phobos. I have played all of those games except Leather Goddesses of Phobos, which if I'm being totally honest, I actually, many years ago, downloaded an abandonware copy of it and, kicked around with it for, half an hour to an hour and didn't really find it all that fun. But I've obviously on my channel played Planetfall and Mind Forever Voyaging, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy I've played, although I have not LP'd. Sorcerer may be my next LP after I finish this one, or my next Infocom LP after this one. It really depends on how people respond to this LP and whether anybody watches it, or whether I do any more, because, I can always play a frickin' Infocom game on my own and not record it. Section 2, about Infocom's interactive fiction. I don't think we'll bother to read this. It tells you about saving and loading, and it's not, I don't believe any of this is written by Meretsky, so there's not going to be a huge amount of, there are some amusing little things like, here we go. Stationfall recognizes your words by their first six letters, and all subsequent letters are ignored. For example, Stationfall would not be able to distinguish among spaceship, space storm, and space sickness. Interesting. I didn't know that. And there's something amusing here. Examples of commands that you could use are walk to the northwest, northeast down, take the meteorite, open the hatch, read through the manual, lie down on the acceleration couch, examine the shiny laser rifle, put the power pack in the rifle, show my antennae to the alien ambassador, shoot the menacing alien with the shiny laser rifle, ask the sentient crab about the electron microscope. Take the megafuse and the tangerine, drop the bottle of argon, the spoon, and the lemming food, put the matter and the antimatter in the box. Push the button, enter the space scooter, and then shut the hatch. Look at the oxygen tank, take it, put it on, turn on the hyperspatial computer program, turn it off, pick up the energy tablet, smell it, swallow it, take all the tools except the wrench and the photon spanner, take all from the carton, put all in the pocket of the jumpsuit, give all but the battery to the broken cyborg. Who is Pluto? What is Gru? Where is everybody? Zeke, hello. Captain Measle, tell me about the asteroid. Uncle Otto, give me your wallet. Boy, run home and call the police. Galactic Overlord, pick up that planet Tau to eat it. Just there's a bit of humor in some of this. Shoot the 7-headed purple alien. With the 7-headed purple alien gun, a bolt of energy vaporizes one of the alien's heads. Unfortunately, it continues to advance, and there isn't a 6-headed purple alien gun in sight. Show the hologram, the bug-eyed monster. Give the melon to the alien. Monster takes one look at the hologram of the slime pit of some homeworld. It has an acute attack of homesickness, runs off in search of a travel agent. Give the melon to the alien. Which melon do you mean? The honeydew melon or the moldy Venusian melon? Moldy the alien, grateful for such a delicious homeworld delicacy. Gives you its time travel belt. I don't think there's a reason to read all of these. Because a lot of this is just stuff that you have to fight your way through. It doesn't recognize what I'm trying to type, etc., etc., etc. So the station blueprints came with the game. Blueprints herein are printed and dispersed solely for the uses and purposes of the Stellar Patrol of the Third Galactic Union, as outlined in the Stellar Patrol Blueprint Rules and Regulations Handbook, as determined by an authorized disperser of these blueprints, or by any commanding officer, provided that such uses and purposes are in a manner consistent with the rules and regulations of Stellar Patrol. Failure to comply with said rules and regulations with regard to the confidentiality of the Stellar Patrol blueprints will be treated as an act of treason, and punishments determined accordingly. All local restrictions apply. So we have a little legend, and basically you can see there's a command module, there's diplomatic, military, and scientific sub-modules. There's different levels of the command module. This kind of serves as a basic map of how the game is laid out. That is not... It tells you what to expect to find without actually going into, like, screen by screen. This is where you will go, which is a big thing in the hint books, because you'll see like 3 dots sometimes indicates that the path is not initially visible, etc. Like those will actually give away a good bit of the game, whereas this is apparently what the character is meant to know about where he's going, more or less, before he goes there. And as we already know from reading the back of the box, when he gets there, he will find that this supposedly thriving space station seems to be abandoned except for an ostrich and a balloon creature. So we can look real quick at the game forms. This is the last piece, other than the patch, which I can't really show you. This is the last bit of funsies that came with the game. So we have the robot use authorization form. And some of this information will be useful to you. In certain games, you would need information from the feelies to actually win the game. Green, like, so the different copies. Who do the different copies go to? This is a bit of a joke. Green goes to the issuee, blue to the issuer, white to the issuer's commander, canary to the issuee's commander, canary copy to the issuer's commander. There's a pink one for the files, there's a buff for the backup files, there's a gray for the double backup files, there's a coffee-colored one for the triple backup files, there's a cream-colored copy for the records officer, there's an ivory-covered copy for the assistant records officer, there's an egg-colored copy for the junior records officer, and there's a mauve for the form ombudsman. So, haha, bureaucracy. There's 12 different colored copies of the form. Instructions to the issuee. This form should be presented at the robot pool indicated above. If no such pool exists, return this form to its issuer along with the 8 completed copies of missing or non-existent robot pool report form GY98M at the indicated robot pool. This form should be given to any party or parties thereabouts responsible for the discharge of the robots, or if the indicated pool is automated, to the appropriate automated system or systems. Instructions to the robot pool. 1 robot may be discharged into the care of the issuee of this form for such purposes as are specified under the Stellar Patrol Omnibus Robot Use Policies and Procedures Book. Copies of this form should be sent to the issuee's immediate superior, to the ship's records officers, archives 1, 2, and 3, and the issuee's permanent record file, and the files to the indicated robot pool. Instructions to the robot. And then it's like crazy robot writing. This form is printed, and this bit of text appears on every page, and as you can tell, just from the last sentence, there is like humor in there, so let's read it once, but we won't read it every time. This form is printed and dispersed entirely for the uses and purposes of the Stellar Patrol of the Third Galactic Union. It may be used only for the purposes, uses and purposes, or for any other use and purpose with which the user may be instructed to comply by an authorized disperser of this form or by any commanding officer, provided that such use is in a manner complying with all rules and regulations of Stellar Patrol and the laws of the Third Galactic Union, unless superseded by any local laws and customs where such local laws and customs appeared under the supremacy conventions of the Patrol, the Union, or other such parties as the uses of this form may dictate. In addition, And furthermore, the use of this form in no way expresses any license bestowed upon the printer, the disperser, the user, or anyone or any party to accept or use this form or any of its parts. This form is regulated by all training regulations as codified in the Stellar Patrol Omnibus Form and Paperwork Policy Book. Is published on 5/15/11339 and amended on 437 subsequent occasions, and is considered a legally binding document in a court of law or in a court of basketball or any other court you can think of. This form was designed and printed under the auspices of the Stellar Patrol Forest Planet Management Printing Offices, or maybe it was the printing planet of the Forest Management Offices, perhaps the florist plants, and painted manacled officers. Does anyone really give a hoot? Does anyone who isn't really insane read this far into the fine print? I mean, you have to be really off your rocker batty nutso to even get halfway through the second line. Imagine what it's like for a poor ensign fourth class having to write ream after ream of this trot day after day, month after month, year after cripping year. It's enough to turn your brain to guacamole. No, wait, it's worse than that. It's enough to turn your brain to quivering Jishonite jello puddles. Arrgh! GI6 Form 2. Then we continue on. Same jokes as before as far as the number of copies that are to be made. This form is applicable to the following classes: Class 3 vehicles. Transport Space Tugboat, Forms Transport Space Truck 6 meter, Forms Transport Space Truck 9 meter, Forms Transport Space Truck 12 meter, Titanium Hull Swamp Walker, a Deep Space Trans-Ion Particle Plucker, Ambassadorial Shuttle 1 person, Ambassadorial Shuttle 2 person, Ambassadorial Shuttle more than 2 person or 1 person plus any number of non-humans. Which reminds me, Bobo, of like, what about 2 men standing on each other's shoulders? The Scooter Intrasystem Captain Zowie model, Zero Energy Puddle Sitter Sitting Duck brand, and the Semi-Oofing Gig Bun Powered Double Foos. Then we have the same zany fine print. Description of assignment: take a space truck from the Deck 5 cargo bay. Proceed to Space Station Gamma Delta Gamma 77 G5959 Sector Alpha Mu 79. Pick up 24 pallets of request. I don't know why I'm said that now. For Stellar Patrol issue regulation, black form binders, request forms, formed. This is a top priority assignment. Additional data: Astro Navigator's navigational data. Then the same zany fine print as before. So there you have it, folks. We have read most of the manual, at least the stuff that's specific to Stationfall, and that appeared to be written by Mr. Moretsky and therefore humorous. We took a very, just zoomed through the blueprints. I suppose I could pause on each one for anyone who wants to pause. Although I need to, there we go. So if anybody wants to pause their video and examine any of the blueprint pages more closely, they have the option. Cooling fans, that's pretty cool. But at this point, as you can see, I believe it will be a larger map than Planetfall was. May take a bit more doing to solve. But we've read through most of the manual. We've read through the zany game forms for any wacky fun they involve. And I don't actually have a high-quality picture of the patch that came with the game. But you could Google it and try to find one if you're really, really interested. Next time, folks, we're actually going to start playing Let's Play Stationfall, which basically means we're going to start a game. And again, if you're not already familiar with Infocom games, the game will be a black background with white text, and there is no sound. It's just going to be me talking. So it's going to be a great Let's Play for you to listen to if you're doing something else and are not going to be able to watch the screen. It's a Steve Moretsky game, so you can expect a lot of humor, and you can also expect a certain dark tone, which happened in almost all of his games. And I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope that I will be able to solve it without relying too much on the hint book. We'll start to find out next time. I'm the Serious JG. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you then. Bye-bye.